Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and follow wherever you're listening. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. Gentlemen, fellas, amigos, this is Shoot 'em Up. Why?
It sure fucking was.
Because every now and again you need a movie whose title is everything that happens.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. I think it's the only thing that does happen because this movie is unfortunately not called Makes a Whole Lot of Sense.
Well, they do take care enough every now and again to have an exposition dump. And I think it's, I won't say brilliant, but entirely needed. Pew, 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 pew for about 15 minutes fucking straight. Some titties, and then someone showing up to go, hey, just so y'all know this is what's happening. All right, back to the shooting and titties.
Yeah, and it's really obvious when they do that too. They're not trying to hide that it's an exposition dump. This is like make your own first exposition dump. This is what that is.
But can we just because we have to mention it because the plot is so tiny, like bird brain tiny. It's like it's the title of the movie plus baby.
You guys were getting a plot?
Only whenever they were telling me what was happening. To me, to Eric's point, the entire movie was guns and baby. That was it. And while we're on the subject of the baby, they went from using this live real baby to this fucking piss poor baby doll, like the Dollar Tree baby doll, and then it would suddenly be this live action animatronic that they end up running over in some big switcheroo.
Like
wow.
I do enjoy that you suspect that whoever made this thing gave a shit. That pleases me. I like that. They did.
Okay, but seriously, they ran over a baby. Do you think that because the test audience was like, man, you can't run over a baby, they were like, oh, just make it a robot baby. No one's going to care.
Honestly, okay, I thought that I'd seen this movie before, and I still might have, but the only thing that I remember at all from it, if I do remember it, is that baby scene, the fake baby. Oh, it's a robot. So that's at least something. That has to be like a pivotal point in the movie, right?
I agree with you, but we discussed it a little bit before the cast. Is like I think this is just identical to like a dozen other movies that came around the same time, also starring Clive Owen and a baby.
Yes. Oh, okay.
You see, yeah.
Okay, for me, this is just two of the movies that we've done recently smooshed together. Leon the Professional. You've got killer with a baby trying to protect baby, killer with a child, whatever, from a bunch of men just trying to chase him down and kill him with guns in every scene. It's that movie, but with a skin of like Crank.
Ooh.
Crank's a good one.
I like that.
Yeah. A little bit of spice
that.
of life in there.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I'm going to have to lay it on the line. That's a great summation, but this is clearly just Children of Men if it were directed by my 14-year-old self.
Yes. What do you want? I want explosions, fucking wicked shootout scenes where a guy is going to slide through 600 feet of oil to then ramp up a pallet through a window to then land and shoot 4 men. Copy paste in every shootout.
Oh, and I also want a sex scene with Monica Bellucci and a gunfight at the same time.
Oh, about to blow my load.
In the board meeting, do you think he was just like, and make sure the sex scene was just extra smushed?
Yes, dude. They keep her tits pressed against him so hard so you don't get no nip. And then for just a brief second, her arm rises and you get that 2 seconds of, I guess, keeping it into a soft R of tit. And you go, yeah, I was waiting on that.
She probably had a clause in her contract, like $1,000 a nipple. So they didn't have the budget.
It's almost like that Candyman thing. We got paid per bee sting. It's just her bee sting.
Oh, okay. This movie stars people. We have typecast, Guns Bunny, fucking Comedy Wick, Clive
Guns
Owen.
Bunny.
We get the uber fucking pedophilia, whatever Grimes fucking vibe, Paul Giamatti. This dude is just, every time he's on the screen, he's so scummy unless that phone rings. And I love the phone calls to the wife.
It's like, oh yeah, honey, some things came up. I've got to do a little bit more business here, but yeah, I'll be home for Timmy's baseball game. I promise.
Paul Giamatti kind of gave me an idea because this movie is, I don't want to just outright say it's 100% horseshit, but like, I feel like somebody's like, who's in on the joke and who's not? Like, is the director playing a joke on the actors, or are all the actors just like, yeah, this is crap, but we're going to say yes to it anyways and be 100% all the time? Paul Giamatti is so fucking scummy. It's just the way he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to be James Cagney the entire time, and nobody's going to get it.
What I'll say about this is Paul Giamatti in this movie, he wasn't in a movie. He was in a comic book. Everyone else was in a movie. Because every scene, everything that he has is just, it's a still with a quick whip.
Yeah. Pan to him. It's just his face centered somewhere in the frame. Shit going on, normally like some lights in the background to add atmosphere, and then him talking through gritted teeth as if he was Richard Dreyfuss in Jaws when he's mad at Quint.
I guess, but man, he just like the way he just gestures and just kind of like over enunciates everything. It's like, god damn. There's like a huge difference between somebody like chewing the scenery and just taking out giant, disgusting bites of it behind you.
Yeah, he's Jaws. He's just fucking every scene as big a bite as he can. And did you like his gun bits? Okay, so this movie is all about the guns. But there's a part where he's torturing this prostitute wet nurse, and he's got that fucking big gun of his. I've never been so uncomfortable watching a depiction of a character as what Paul Giamatti was able to give me whenever this chick kind of like slaps his coffee out of his hand and burns him because he's trying to be a dick with it. And then he's like, okay, bitch, you burnt me a little bit. I can play that game too. He shoots his gun to heat the barrel and then starts to burn up her thigh with it. I was like, yo, what? And then he's just gross, sweaty laughing about it.
Well, between that and him touching a dead girl's titty, it's almost, I don't know if it's a coincidence that the most disgusting scene that I've ever witnessed was followed up by the most disgusting scene I ever witnessed.
Thanks, Paul Gropatitty.
Yeah, so, okay, what happens in this movie? We start out, there's a gunfight.
That never ends.
What's going on? There's a young woman who runs into a warehouse getting chased. She's pregnant, in labor, trying to get shot.
Trying to get shot.
But in the middle of the gunfight, she has the baby right then and there. Goes into labor as bullet casings are dropping on her birth-giving stomach.
Yeah, and she like immediately bumps into Clive Owen, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I'm auditioning for Sin City. What are you doing here?"
Yes, they're on the same lot. He heard some noise, and now he's stuffing a baby in a toboggan and using one of his dirty wet socks as a fucking hat.
Well, no, that's going to be the mucus plug.
Ew.
Oh.
I don't really know what that is. I just wanted to say mucus plug.
In the idea of where we are in plot, it's just literally one continuous gun scene that doesn't matter because it's just exposition being spewed at you between bullets. What we get are action set pieces, which some pay off in really fun ways and others don't. Like this initial rooftop run where we get introduced to Paul Giamatti and Clive Owen's running from him. They run across the Falk Tools blah blah blah. And it's a big neon sign. At first, as soon as you look at it, you go,
yeah.
oh yeah, they're going to shoot that up. And I can already see Falk, so that's going to say fuck. Where are we going with this? So they shoot it out, and it says fuck you. And Paul Giamatti's like, grrr, and he shoots out the L, and it says fuck you too. I did have a chuckle.
Okay, it might have been like a lighthearted joke in the movie, but watched this with the missus, and she asked, "Did they really just do that?" I was like, "Of course, honey, they did." And this is where they can fuck right off.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
It's movie.
It's one of those things. It's that turn of the century cringe fest movie. But this one's unique though. It's not like it has any connective tissue. It's just things.
Yeah.
It does have connective tissue because at the end of every act, I don't know if it's their way to be like, yeah, we know, or if it's just that 14-year-old inside of all of us that made this movie, but they end every scene with somebody being covered in the duties.
Well, let's talk about the first gunfight, or excuse me, the gunfight ignition. So, like, we're in that, like, warehouse or whatever. The mom unfortunately dies. Clive Owen now has, like, a little burrito baby. And he's like, okay, there's a bunch of people. I just have a handgun. What do I do?
I kill, and he has infinite magazines. Now, the gun does, or not the gun, the film takes the effort to show you that he needs to reload, but he just has infinite magazines. He has as many magazines as he does random fucking carrots.
Yeah, so another parallel that I have with Leon the Professional is Leon has his milk. Always has milk. This guy's got a carrot. That's his thing. He always eats carrots.
Well, it improves his eyesight. And you know what that means? He sees that he can blow off the little gasket under a car and slide on oil for about 400 yards.
Dude, he may as well be at some water resort going down their tallest slide, because for fucking the next 20 seconds of the film, he's just sliding and shooting with cuts of people doing that classic arms back shaky shake.
It almost makes you feel like this is how you're trying to describe to a friend how good Max Payne is.
Oh, yes, I have that parallel. It's like the Max Payne movie, but better.
To be fair, the Max Payne games were really good. So.
No, the games are amazing. I'm talking the movie starring... What?
Mark
No,
Hamill.
why would I do that?
What?
Say hi to your mother
Starring-
for me.
Yes, why would I do that? Oh, Thunder Buddies for life there, teddy bear.
I like the slight lisp.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
It's fucking Mark Wahlberg. No, not the Antiques Roadshow one.
Okay, so they're killing people. There's carrots involved. He's got to feed a baby, right? Where do you go? Of course you go to see the chick who sells her titty milk to adult babies.
It's New York. You can find anything at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I do feel like, given that, time and error or whatever, it might have just been in the Yellow Pages.
Just look it up. Wet nurse at
Yeah.
brothel.
Well, actually, it's not New York. This actually takes place in Toronto, which was really weird.
Does it?
What? No.
Yeah, there was a huge far shot of, like, the city and the CN Tower. I was just like, what?
Oh, maybe
but-
it's quote-unquote New York, filmed in Canucada to save the monies.
That's what I would think, because he mentions, like, you're going to be all over the East River here in a second or something.
Oh, hey, go ahead, shoot it. That's just the Empire States with it. Nobody gives a fuck. Put it in the movie.
There's just Canadian flags, and they're like, fucking New York, brah!
Yeah, no,
Bruh.
that's the Canadian Embassy. We got one of those here.
It's New
We
York,
got
we got
walked
one of
in.
everything's.
And then there's the quiet. Okay, everybody can go back to shutting the fuck up. I'm making the movie now.
Yeah, okay. We want to talk about Max Payne in the idea of it being a game that's great, a movie that's no. This movie does steal a shit ton of it. Number one, the look of the character. Number two, the over-the-top, zany, sliding, diving action. That's all Max Payne written all over it. There's a scene here in a bit where he's getting chased up a fire escape or some shit, and there's tons of stairs, a stairwell. And he ends up rappelling down the stairwell, shooting the whole way down. And even my wife went, oh yeah, that's Max Payne. I went, fuck yeah, that's Max Payne. But this is better than the Max Payne movie. That's where I wanted to go with that parallel.
There wasn't enough bullet time in this.
See, I think that could have been fun, but the CG for this movie is atrocious.
Bad. It's bad.
Like, to the point of sci-fi movie laughable bad, especially whenever they jump out of the plane at the end. Holy fuck.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say. That sky... I don't know how they couldn't have just, like, copy and pasted sky behind them, just as, like, a... You could use, like a static shot, and it would look better than this.
The scenes from Christopher Reeve's Superman are more believable than this.
Oh, yeah, by a lot, actually, yeah.
Maybe they just went the whole Bob Ross technique and just like, this is just a suggestion of falling out of a plane.
People come flying into screen from off screen looking like paper cutouts. It's fucking ridiculous. He has a gun in his hand that he drops Everything is falling at the same speed. He drops this gun, and it literally is like a fucking meteor to the earth.
Yeah, well,
He's like, don't defend this. What the fuck?
no, what I was going to say is, no, that just comes back to Paul Giamatti being in a comic book, everyone else being in a movie.
Well, this whole baby thing is a problem. And what's Clive Owen's solution? He's just going to walk to a random park and just put a baby on a merry-go-round. Peace.
Dude. Okay. Did you guys... Sorry, this was like the scene in the movie that broke me, and I fucking paused it to laugh.
I hope it's exactly what I'm thinking, because this scene is exactly 15 minutes in, and this is where I gave the fuck up.
He sets the baby down. Mind you, it looks like they really took this baby and set it on a merry-go-round in the sense of that is a baby, and that shit looks cold as fuck. Like, and they put it on there, and that baby starts freaking out immediately, and I'm like, that poor little cold baby. Anyways, that's not the part that got me. The part that got me is when he's walking away, there are people clearly watching this, some random woman,
Yeah,
and she's just like, oh no! Someone left a baby!
that's, no. You're 100% right, because just to myself, I was just like, yeah, that's acting, alright.
It's some of the worst. It's Troll 2 worthy.
But the thing is, the movie put a fucking stop to that immediately. Because after that wonderful, wonderful line, Velma, she gets sniped out of the movie by Paul Giamatti.
Just out of the back of a limo. Yeah, it's like, shut up, that acting's so bad, we need to kill you now.
And what do we have to do? We got to get the fucking dangerous British nanny Clive Owen to start shooting his gun at the merry-go-round, causing it to spin so fast that it slings the baby off and into his possession, narrowly avoiding another sniper round. Holy fuck.
Now that you said that he was a babysitter, like, now I can't not think about Mary Poppin caps.
Yep. Oh, yes! Yes.
Good. That's good.
He ends up killing a shit ton more henchmen, and we get a slash cut to mass graves of henchmen. And they're shallow, where he's just killing them by the fucking, I guess, the truckload or whatever, however you measure henchmen mass graves in.
But this does scream, I'm 14 and this is deep.
Yes. Did you enjoy how every single henchman, everyone, is dressed exactly the same?
They probably did that because they hired like 4 extras.
Oh,
we can
okay.
Hey, we can get costumes cheaper if we buy them in bulk, but they all gotta look the same.
Didn't
Get it?
I just
No, that's
die?
good.
Get the fuck back in there!
You ain't done dying. Die again. Slaps him on the ass.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a good plan, though. It's thrifty.
Well, speaking of saving money, they hired no one to write this.
The only person I think they hired was the dude who worked on Family Guy for the What Grinds My Gears Peter Griffin segment, because that's all they have through this of little nuggets of what annoys Clive Owen's character. He's like, you know what really grinds my gear? This road rage stuff. Use your blinker, kids. And then he murders the man for not using his blinker.
And then there's a chicken fight.
Oh.
Yeah. But why even give him that extra layer of depth? Depth and quotey fingers, by the way.
I'm wondering that about the carrot. Like, what is that? It's not symbolic of anything.
No, I can see that. They had the idea like, oh, this is just a live-action Looney Tune. Frequently like a huge reference to Bugs Bunny. And be like, yep, that's art, isn't it?
Yep. When Paul Giamatti is in that infamous scene with Monica Bellucci's thigh, Clive Owen sneaks up behind him, snacks on a carrot. What's up, Doc?
I fucking facepalmed.
Come on.
This whole thing just gives me the vibes of just like Disturbed covering Sounds of Silence.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh.
Okay.
Where like,
I like
they
it.
totally like they kind of nailed what they wanted, but they just do not fucking get it.
Yeah, like, okay, that's a good song. I'm glad you made it your own, but no thank you.
Yeah, no thank you. Please take this back.
Okay, you were talking about this having references or a vibe from Professional. After the road rage segment, Paul Giamatti sees that once again Clive Owen has murdered umpteen of his lackeys, and he's like, hey, how many boys you got on retainer? Call them all up, because I need everyone.
Well, we don't have everyone. We got like 50 dudes.
Well, that's what happens when you say the same line that Gary Oldman said, but just like way more sexual predatorly.
Yeah, it's not I need everyone out of anger and desperation. It's like I need everyone to fill me up in every hole.
Is
Ew.
predatorly, is that a word? If you think predatorly is a word, leave it in the comments.
Speaking of needs here, what do they need for this baby, gentlemen? They need a bulletproof vest. How they gonna get it? Back alley
A fucking
BJ's
dick.
leaving the baby in a fucking box next to a dumpster.
I mean, I don't think it's something you can get like at the Oshkosh or anything, but
But yeah, all right. So he goes to this pawn shop to like barter with this person to try and get like a gun and a box of bullets. And he doesn't have enough money. He's trying to give this woman like food stamps and a check that he got from like the sperm bank or something. And Monica Bellucci's like, I've had enough of this. Me and the baby are going outside. Literally 5 seconds later, he walks outside and she's, as we said, sucking dick behind a dumpster.
look, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And that is just her motto for life.
I like that during all this chaos, she's able to immediately find and procure a client. She's like, hey there. And he's like, yes. She's like, I know I'm carrying this child in a box, but for X amount of dollars, I can suck that dick. She then grabbed his finger and sucked on it for a moment, pulled it away, and it was extra long and fat and throbbing. And he was like, oh, it'll be worth the money.
I feel like that conversation was just like 1,000 times way too long. I feel like this is what happened. Insert scene from Full Metal Jacket. There you go.
Look, you can suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Cuts to her doing so.
And cut. We got it.
I don't know where we are, and I don't think it matters.
I can tell you exactly where we are. We are at them going to his house where he uses that mousetrap door.
Oh yeah, that's kind of you say house.
His giant literal loft on the ground level that somehow has a city view from sky level.
That makes it sound really nice. This is a squat house. This is it's like a squat house, but he's got like, you know, the game Mousetrap. He's got it set up so that he has to have a mouse to get in. This is confusing, guys.
It's okay. He's a mouse smith and a mouse smith.
It's really doofy that he gets let in by the rat into his loft that is basically the place where Tokyo Drift was filmed before they put up the neon lights.
Everything just looked kind of like squalor. Like they were just like walking around like wreckage and shit.
Yeah. But they find out that the original mother lived near a heavy metal bar.
Yes. The owner is that giant Marilyn Manson looking fucking dude.
Yes, I have big Marilyn Manson looking guy.
And this entire scene kind of wraps up in the oddest way where Clive Owen just jams his hand in his pants and is just like, oh no,
Oh.
it wasn't Clive Owen, it was what's her name,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say. That makes the scene way different.
Monica Bellucci, yeah.
Yeah, she shoves her hand down his little leather mankini and is like, hey, show us the apartments upstairs. And he's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
All
he's
right.
got his dick torn off and he like has to limp through the rest of the scene.
Not only does he get his Prince Albert ripped out, he goes upstairs to let them see a quote-unquote apartment. This apartment is a fucking secret laboratory. There are like fucking 8 rooms on this long hallway and then 3 laboratory-sized rooms with like cum all over the floor, but still less cum on the floor than what was there whenever Jagger and Bowie did Dancing in the Street.
Oh.
Oh no. Well, I mean, it comes pre-furnished, and for that much, pretty good deal.
But yeah, this place goes from like CBGB's to like Wayland Industries really quick.
In one staircase.
Yeah.
It's
But we find out that there's like a freezer of sperm back there, and it's all from the same donor. And I think we're supposed to care who it's from, but I really don't.
Isn't it just implied it's Clive Owens?
Like, I kind of thought that for a second, but I don't remember exactly whose sperm that is, but I was thinking that it was like ended up being the congresspersons or something.
Yeah,
So
like he was making
he-
little
making
clones
babies.
to steal their stem cells and bone marrow.
Yeah, because that's the actual plot of this movie.
Yes.
I don't care about it. It doesn't.
Nope.
No one cares.
Yeah, like the whole onion layer thing. I'm just not abiding by any of that. Straight to the point. Let's just shoot some shit.
It's more like an apple.
Save the baby.
So the plot is the skin on an apple, and then all the gun stuff is the meat.
Yes, that's really what it should have been. Instead, they keep telling us about like the clone babies and stuff. And to be honest with you, whenever they were usually dumping exposition, I was so tuned out that I didn't care unless Paul Giamatti was on the screen doing something sleazy.
Which
I
is
got
just all the time.
Yeah. But I got harvesting babies, something about bone marrow written down, and that's about all we need. We can press on.
I'm glad you guys got something out of it, because like I had no clue what was going on by that time. I was just like, all right, righto, you do that, sir. To whomever was on screen, even Monica Bellucci.
They all then turn and look at the screen and say, we're going to go public with this story. Meanwhile, let's hate fuck.
Is it hate fuck?
She's all Selma Hayek and going, don't you want to know how I lost my original Pepe? And he's like, I don't care, Selma Hayek. Then
No,
you see them titties.
He like hugs her and is like, I'll comfort you, and then she's like, I don't ever get comfort because I'm a prostitute. Let's like love fuck.
Oh yeah, with the feelings.
Yeah,
I don't know.
or something. I don't. Yeah.
Like judging by the faces that he made, I don't think that he gives a shit.
No, there's zero love here. She might be in love. He's like, I'm just trying to get this nut. And on top of that nut, trying to get that blood nut.
And speaking of nut, this is Samuel Smith's Nut Brown Ale. 5% alcohol by volume. This is just a brown ale. One of the classic English styles. A little bit nutty. I don't know where that actually comes from. I don't think there's any nuts in this. This is super medium bodied. This is just drinkable, solid beer. I like it.
You know what I like? It's definitely not these bull nugget theories and this Johnny Cash justice this man is fucking dishing out. Because you got to ask yourself the question. Are you a pussy with a gun in your hand?
Well, I thought the real question was, why'd he have to kill them while they was fucking?
This fucking movie.
And then Paul Giamatti goes, mercy, whatever.
Yeah, and there's a superhero shootout yet again where he uses a bunch of guns that he has somehow Home Depot / Lowe's to random pieces of Lundia shelving and used as traps like the Vietnamese may have back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of, like just like guns strapped up from trees that can rotate on the limbs or some stupid shit like that. But in the middle of what is this place?
Gun
I
store.
thought it was I thought it was like a hardware store to begin with, and then it turns into I don't know what it turns into, but it doesn't feel like a gun store for very long.
You're telling me you didn't love his art of gun triloquism?
That's
Look, he's got the AK across the room, and he just pulls the trigger and it starts shooting. Why? Because.
I mean, he doesn't even need to do that. He can just like throw out a carrot to distract everyone.
Yeah, that carrot's pretty OP. Like every time he used it, it was insta kill.
Pocket carrot. Sha-sha.
Shut up.
Guys, I legitimately have no clue how the rest of this movie plays out.
No, I'm right there with you. Like, I know how it plays out. I know what the scenes look like. I don't know why any of it.
We get a tribute, though, to Raising Arizona with the diaper grab.
Yeah, we get that. Yeah. They go up into what is supposed to be like a presidential candidate's plane, and we find out that there's like a switcheroo. It's like, oh, we're not actually enemies, we're actually friends. But actually, also, I'm a friend of the other guys, too. 'Cause
I'm playing all sides. I can't lose.
that way I always come on top. Yeah, like, what is going on here, Senator Rutledge?
I'll tell you what's going on. They're firing up Kickstart My Heart, and this is the fucking go home, boys.
The go home.
All right, so Clive Owen kills the senator on his plane and, like, ties him up somewhere and then jumps out with a parachute. I don't know why any of this is happening.
It's so the movie can officially shit the bed.
See, this is very much again like the end of Crank, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like if the entire ending of Crank cost about 14 cents.
Yes. The
Yeah,
budget
sure.
is 100% gone at this
Gone.
point. It looks absolutely atrocious. But I gotta say, I think it's part of the charm.
I don't know if it's charm. I swear to God that this would be 1,000 times better if it would just straight up just cut to somebody like John Cleese and they're like, and they jumped out of the thing and it ended. And I'd be like, that's pretty classy. 10 out of 10.
He's
What
gonna
we
shut the
got
book.
was just so inept that I rolled on the floor laughing. I fell out of my seat
He straight
because it was
waffled.
so absolutely because it was so goddamn ridiculous.
This goes through little bouts of being serious, and then at every point, it ends it with something absolutely ridiculous. And that's a metaphor for the whole movie because this is the end, and it's just goddamn ridiculous. We can
Everyone's basically dead at this point, either from gunshots, helicopters, falling, whatever. The main henchman, though, Paul Giamatti's right-hand boy, is still alive, and that's the fucking janitor from Urban Legend. Why is this guy still around?
No,
That's
I
rough.
was looking at his filmography because I was like, I know that guy from something. It turns out I know that guy from everything. That guy is prolific.
I'm super surprised you guys caught that because my brain has not retained any of this fucking movie.
I wasn't really watching the movie. I was just kind of looking around at it for the majority of it because that's how little is going on between the action with these scenes of just literal chaos. You'll get something else. And so you start to watch it and then you see how unattached to the movie it feels. And so you just kind of start to look at it instead of watching it.
Yeah, and then you get like through all this. Monica Bellucci's character is supposed to be like getting on this green bus or something to
The
so they can-
wherever bus.
Yeah, the wherever. It does. Does this matter?
I don't know. Maybe it's like another pretentious moment, like, oh, the bus going anywhere, you know, haha.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past places like New York to have just buses that do that. That just like, oh, we're gonna go cruise around for wherever for 6 months. You want to come? It's only $60 a head. I don't know, bunch of hippie stuff, I guess.
I think she was charging $60 a head.
Oh,
$60 per head.
But yeah, I guess the idea was he was supposed to not know so that when he gets caught, like he doesn't have any information to give, and that's exactly what happens. They fall out of the plane. Clive Owen kind of parachute and lands, although he is injured. He ends up getting caught and taken to Paul Giamatti's like cabin or something.
I don't know. It's like private zoo at this point. Fucking weirdo.
It's fucking weird.
For real.
Man. This is where Paul Giamatti's character finally sees his fate, and it's man, the scene, the hands,
Okay.
or the bullet in the hand.
Literal handgun.
Yeah, there are a lot of decisions in this movie. Spoilers.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit going on. For me, this is one of those scenes. When I watched it, I went, "Oh man, Paul Giamatti's gonna go out like that." Clive Walker's these fucking hands that look like FDR's polio legs, and he stuffed bullets between them, and he ends up shooting Giamatti with him. And Giamatti gets a phone call, and he's like, "Hang on a minute," and he's shot laying on the ground. And you may as well chalk this up to like some Steven Seagal shit. He just gets the fuck up. He just gets up to have a second final showdown.
Sure. Yeah, he gets a phone call from his wife and is like, "Oh, she's leaving me."
Oh man, he's so kicked while he's down.
Yeah. Womp womp womp.
Motherfucker.
Exactly, motherfucker. That's how this movie ends, with a motherfucker. He goes down to wherever, meets old girl, and the movie literally starts again.
She ends up working at an ice cream shop, and I don't know how he knows that she's there, but he just rolls up and is like, "Oh, baby, cool. Let's make out on the counter." And then it gets robbed. What are the odds?
And then the audience collectively sighs as the credits roll. Shoot 'em up.
Yes.
Oh.
The movie's dumb as fuck. I think Giamatti gets the role, and I love him for it, even though in this role he is gross. I think Nicolas Cage should have been cast in Clive Owen's spot, and I would have been 10 times more on board with this movie. Like I said earlier, though, the movie's a little hollow. I had people to watch it with, so I could constantly do that thing to where your smile goes from ear to ear, and you look at the person next to you, and all you can do is go, what? And then you go back to watching. For that, it's good.
Between recording this and actually watching the movie, I saw about an hour's worth of Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I realized the 87-minute runtime of Shoot 'em Up wasted my time.
Yeah, so if we haven't quite put a word on it, ridiculous is the only thing that could be used. This movie's ridiculous. Is it good? Probably not. But it's sure as fucking ridiculous.
Well, there you have it. That was Shoot 'em Up. If you have any strong feelings about the show or the movie, leave it in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to bash that little bell icon down there, you know the one, so you don't miss what we've got brewing up next.
Get out there and follow us on the social medias. We got that Instagram, that Twitter, that Facebook, that Reddit. We're out there wherever podcasts can be found. And on the YouTubes. Give us a listen. We're okay sometimes. I dare say, maybe even funny on casts like The Mummy. If you don't, we'll come over there and we'll wascally wabbit you with a carrot.